right, guys. Eric Schmidt, Family First Life Success Zone, here with my man Logan from Nashville. Love the hat, love the hat. And so Logan works. I'm gonna have Logan just kind of break down his whole story. But I knew I was hosting tonight. We have a big long calendar, a list of who's hosting when. I'm actually hosting the Saturday FFL New Agent Zoom as well this coming Saturday. So I'll be doing that. Kendall, you did a great job the other day on that. And but Logan, I'm just going to kind of turn it over to you, and I'm going to hit you up with some questions. When you guys have questions, drop it in the chat. But if you don't have a pen and piece of paper out like I do, really weird. If you're not recording this on those nice cloud recorders, I know Jesse's got a nice one. You can you can record on there. I'll be bringing mine this Thursday to West Palm Beach. But Logan, introduce yourself to the group. You know, how you got started in this, what you did before. If I feel you missed a step, then I'm going to hit you back with it. But super excited to have you on the call tonight, man. Appreciate you.
Sweet. Well, what's up, everyone? Some of y'all might recognize me from a handful of months back. I did one of these, but yeah, just to share a little bit. So I've been in the life insurance industry since about August of 2024, so a little over a year. I came from door to door, did that for 4 summers through college. I'm 24 years old, so basically did that all the way through college and had one job in between, but always been in sales, kind of got into this. And yeah, it's been legit. This is definitely an amazing industry to be in if you're a salesperson, recruiter, whatever it is. So been enjoying it. I mean, that's like a quick rundown of my story. So
So
anything
door
else?
to door, what were you doing what were you doing door to door, Logan?
Yeah, I worked for a company called Southwestern Advantage. It's more of a program that kind of develops college students into, I guess, just really good salespeople, recruiters. The program, it sucks. Like, the point of it is to suck. You sell like 80-hour weeks, you sell educational books and apps door to door, but the mission statement of the company is to help young people develop the skills and character they need to, yeah, cold showers, there you go, to be successful. And so I was very bought into the mission of like, cool, if I do this while I'm young, it's going to suck, but it's really going to develop me into the type of person I'm trying to be and, to achieve the goals that I actually have for myself. So that's what that was all about.
Got you. So in August of 2024, like was it Austin? Was it someone in the group that said, hey, would you like to look at a transition into doing something else? Like, what did that conversation look like? How did you get recruited?
Yeah, I was living in Texas. I'm from Nebraska originally. And so I when I was doing the Southwestern Advantage, the whole door-to-door book selling thing, I didn't recruit very many people to do it. I just wasn't great at recruiting. But I did recruit like a good friend of mine, Logan Merritt, who ended up getting into the life insurance space. He was always like a really top sales guy. He was like the number one first year dealer when I had recruited him into the book selling program. So he was doing this, did it for, I'd say, maybe like almost a year, and he was loving it. And it was just perfect timing for me. Um, I was just looking for something else. I wasn't loving what I was doing, and I was very sold on the couple of people that were in the agency or that were just a part of the team. They were all top salespeople from the organization that I was in doing the door to door thing. So I was like, cool. If these guys are deciding to make this their career, or like this is what they're doing for work, that's all I needed to know. Like, I didn't even need to know what it was. I was like, oh, these 3 guys are doing this. Cool. I'm in. Like, it just makes sense. So that's how I got into it.
So that's why it's always good to share with your friends and tell other people what you're doing, right, guys? So you did book sales for the summer, or was that a 12-month a year thing, or 6 months? Like, how long did you do book sales for, like on a not a shift, but like, was it all year? Like, what was that? What did that look like?
It was always summertime because I was in college. So I
Got
did
it.
this from when I was 19 years old through 23 or whatever it
Got it.
was, whatever
So
the
what
year.
was your best summer income wise going door to door book sales? And what part of the country were you doing the book sales in? Where were you?
Every year you'd be somewhere different, but I sold in like upstate New York, Maine, Ohio, West Virginia, typically like out east. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
random places, and you'd be there the whole
And
summer.
So you would just get dropped off, and like a bunch of guys would live in a cabin and just, get in a van and go to a neighborhood, or like how would that what was that like?
You would take your cars out there, but it's an insane program. Like, yeah, my boy Wes out here looks like he sold books, so he gets it. But it's crazy. Like, if you explain it to anyone, they're like, "What in the hell is wrong with y'all?" Like, it makes no sense, and that's the point. Like, you you basically like know where you're going, but have no idea where you're living and what's going on. And depending on where you're at in the business, like as you come back more, and if you're obviously good at what you do, you get leadership
Mhm.
roles. So by the end of my experience being in there for 3, 4 summers, I was like running a whole sales group. And what that entailed was finding HQs. Yeah, yeah, hunting for the HQs. So that's like you would literally just find places to live. Like it was nuts. We'd show up to church services and go in early, meet the pastor, and say like, "Hey man, like I've got this team of people out here. Our living situation fell through. Here's what we're doing. We work super hard. We really just need a place to rest our heads. Whatever. We're willing to pay rent, but like we would find places where kids are paying like 25, $50 a week to stay there, and there'd be like 3, 4 guys, 3, 4 girls, whatever it was.
Yeah.
So yeah, nuts. So it's like a lot of, I guess, one piece of encouragement that I can give anyone, whatever age you're at, is it's like when you start developing these skills, it just leads to more success later in life. It's like I'm not surprised that things have gone well for me in this industry because I was 19 years old doing things that were hell. I hated it. I hated like every bit of selling books. I loved the growth I got from it and the people I was around. And like there were things that I enjoyed, but I absolutely hated doing it. And I kept coming back and doing it every summer because I just knew
Hmm.
it was just turning me into a beast. And like, I don't know, that's just now the mindset I've developed is like I'm trying to do hard things that suck to be a beast and get out of life what I mean, life's for the taking. So
I love it. And what was your best summer as a leader and a salesperson? Like, what was your best, financial summer with books?
uh I made like 40 grand profit one summer. So that was like the best. And
Hmm.
yeah, I'll always come back to this. It's like you could make good money if you were like good at doing the job, but I was just so sold on. They do a really good job of like brainwashing you in a good way, where it's like, hey, if you just stick this out, there's going to be things that you can make more money doing, but this is the fastest vehicle to learn the skills that you're going to need to be really good at whatever you go on and do after this. So I just kind of knew that this was my vehicle of something that I was going to do for X amount of years until I really stepped into like what I actually wanted to do, which
Hmm.
is this. So I
So now,
look back every day and I'm like, thank God.
that's awesome. So you hooked up with Merritt. We talked more about that. And so talk to me about like your first couple few days, first couple few weeks. Like what did that look like getting into this? And you know, I know obviously you're super confident, but you were doing stuff door to door. You were doing stuff face to face. You had that emotional pull, and whatever other skill sets you use. Now transitioning to this, what did that look like in the beginning for you, Logan?
Yeah, it was different. I never done phone sales. Everything I'd ever done was in person, but all selling's the same for the most part. If you understand just the cycle of sales and why someone buys, it's just harder to build trust over a phone versus if someone's in front of you and they can look at, you and all the things. But I mean,
Give me an
overall,
example. Give me an example when you were making your first dials and people were telling you to kick rocks, or people were saying, or you weren't getting to the finish line, or maybe you were getting all the way up to this part of the presentation, but you weren't getting past that. Like, what were the blockers, with the trust situation, and what did you infuse into that to get you over?
yeah. I mean, normal stuff. It's like social banking if I got that far, but just a lot of think about it. I'm sure everyone, like, that's the number one objection is think about it. And all it means, it's not real. It 100% of the, it 98% of the time is not real. They either just like don't trust you or you messed up earlier in the call if you're getting to think about it. And as soon as you like believe that, that's just when selling changes for you. But I don't know. I just knew that I didn't sound great. How this industry works and how everything works is it's impossible to be confident about something if you don't know what you're talking about. So of course, the first month or two, I just don't really know what I'm doing. I'm reading a script. I have a very brief understanding of the industry. And so the more you learn and the more you take time outside of the hours that you work to learn more about the industry, to be aware of different stuff, you're able to speak with a level of authority and confidence and like a matter of fact. It's like when I talk to people, they just know, like I think it builds trust because they're like, damn, it sounds like this guy said that 5,000 times. It sounds like this guy is like standing on business and just like knows what he's talking about. And I think that's the biggest thing. All the agents, it's like most people have a script, most people are saying the same words, and why aren't they buying from you? Because you don't sound confident. There's like, or you don't sound like you know what you're doing, and it's like people put their trust in. Damn, this dude knows what he's talking about. I can tell he's knowledgeable, and I can tell it is in my best interest to purchase a product from this guy versus the other guy who seems very uncertain about what he's saying or shaky in his voice or whatever the case may be.
So what is the equation? So I wrote down, so there's an equation, right? So there's dial and presentation hours, right? So that's one part of the equation. But then you talked about another part of the equation, which is how to say it, when to shut up, when to talk, when to ask, when to do whatever. So you have those hours that you're dialing, right? And you're presenting or attempting to present through conversation. But what do those hours look like that you're not doing that? So like we'll call that non-money making hours. Okay, Logan. So we have money making hours from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., right? That we're dialing. People are picking up, you're saying hello, you're getting to a conversation, you're getting to a presentation, maybe you're getting to an application. But I think what a lot of people don't understand, and you understood because you came from summer book sales, 80 hours, getting dropped off in a neighborhood, looking for shelter, and then, getting out there and selling your books and stuff. But what are those other hours? Like, break that down for us.
Like where I'm learning and training and
Yeah,
such, or
exactly. Like, so you're not on the phone, like you can't call someone because it's not between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. right?
yeah,
Wherever
yeah.
you're dialing, right? And I know you're licensed all over the country now, so you have 15-hour call windows. But what does it look like to hone those telesales skill sets?
Yeah. So I get really passionate about this. I'm an intense dude and I'm just gonna like say things how they are. Like as soon as all of us understand that we don't write the numbers that we write, or like I'll put it like this. It's like if you're not writing like a 30 or a 40 or a 50 or a 60K month or whatever the number is for you that you deem as like, okay, that's good or impressive or whatever. It's just because you don't have the skill to do so. If you're working the hours, of course, it's like there's obviously a staircase here where it's like, cool, work the hours, do all the controllables, but once the controllables are in place and you're not hitting the numbers you're at, it's just because of your skill. It's not because of the leads, it's not because of this or that or the third. As long and especially if you know other people that are doing the same thing as you. So it's like if you're just on your own island, then it's kind of tough because you're just like, damn, I don't know what anyone else is doing. But obviously, all of you guys are here. There's a team here. There's people to talk to and figure out. So it's like if you're doing the same thing in terms of, oh, I'm buying the same leads as this guy or whatever, and he writes 3 times more than me and we work the same hours, it's just a skill thing. So for me, I had to look myself in the mirror and be like, bro, you're not writing at this level because you're not good enough yet. Not because of this, that, or whatever. You're not good enough. So what are you going to do about it? And there's like 3 things you can do. You can do nothing. And chances are you're actually probably going to get a little bit better over time because if you just do the same thing all the freaking time, you're gonna just fail forward. Like you're gonna figure out and be like, okay, I probably shouldn't say it like that, or I shouldn't say it like that, whatever. That's the slowest way to do it. Number two is, you can watch other people, you can learn from other people. You can watch videos on YouTube, whether that's all these guys that do True Talks on the FFL podcast or people in the industry like Cody Askins or whatever. There's resources out there. For
Mm-hmm.
me, I saw how like profitable this industry could be, and I was like, damn, I'm trying to speed run my skill as fast as I possibly can. And so I paid a ton of money to do Jeremy Miner's top sales program. If y'all know who that is, he's just like a sales dude. And to me, it just made sense. I was like, why would I not spend the money to shorten the length of time of all these things that I need to learn? And it's funny because I did that in December of 2024 and came into this year just like going crazy, like especially in the beginning of the year. And it's because I was so my mind was in it. Like I get passionate about this too. It's like when you pay money to train or you pay money to do something, you're going to take it so much more serious. So I'm going into every day just with this mindset of like, cool, let me try to implement this for my training. Let me be more aware of these things that I'm learning. And when we're constantly feeding ourselves, whether that's through books, podcasts, videos, training, whatever, our mind is just going to be a little bit more on during the day. Like we are just going to be a little bit more sharp. We're going to be like, oh, damn, I remember learning about this. Hey, let me try to handle it this way. Let me try to say it this way versus going into every day just hoping that things happen. You know what I mean? It's like things, people aren't going to buy. If you come with the mindset of like, all right, I'm going to make all these calls and hopefully someone buys, it's like, hell no. It's like I go into this thing and I get someone on the phone and I'm like, how am I going to make this person, not make this person buy, but like, how am I going to be intentional about everything I'm doing to make this a sale? I'm not just hoping that things happen. So, anyways, I'm just rambling at this point, but yeah, I like paid. I
No, I
paid to get
love it.
training and I wanted to speed run the process and it freaking helped a ton. It was like a huge return on investment. So don't be scared to
Yeah,
do
so when I pull up the calendar real quick here, and again, the on the IP report, right, Logan? I look at week 5, December 2024. Now you started in August of 2024. You did a class, you did training, they paid out of pocket for in December. In December of 2024, your issue pay was 27.8, according to the numbers I see here. In January, you did 47,000. In February, same month as convention, Hall of Fame, you're there on stage, 77,000. And in March, 81,000. I didn't have time to keep going through all the months, but I mean, so I don't know what that course cost you, but if it costs less than 150,000, you return an investment on that course. So 27 in December, 47, 77, 81 for Q1 of 2025. So just amazing. And not that we're not keeping track, but I think you're right around 480 year to date.
Yeah, somewhere in there.
Yeah, somewhere. You know it, bro. You text me all the time. You probably know it to the penny.
It's
486.
yeah, somewhere in there.
486 03320. Great job. Amazing job. All right, guys. So we're going to start taking some questions.
I'm gonna answer Adam's question here just because I see
Yeah,
it.
thank
So
you.
he said, "What was your number one takeaway from only Jeremy's training?" Yeah, I do have like a number one takeaway. What's cool about the training is it's not like it taught me to ask all these super specific questions or say everything like this or be ninja this or that. It helped me understand why the hell people buy, which just kind of changes the way that I go about my presentation. So the biggest thing I learned, he's huge on like, hey, in a prospect's mind, you need to help them realize that here's where they are, they have a problem, and you need to create a gap between like, yo, you're here, this is your problem and where you need to go, and like we got to do something about this gap in between. And that just completely changed my mindset with the sales call where I'm like, I'm not going to progress in a sales call if I don't feel like I've built a gap of like, oh, shoot, we've got a problem here. Because at the end of the day, it's like our job as salespeople is to solve a problem. And if I don't think someone has a problem and they're like, yeah, I got all this money in savings and I got all these investments and yada, 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 I'll just ask them, I'm like, Bill, do you feel like you even need life insurance? And then they're like, oh, honestly, Logan, I don't really think that I do. And I'm like, I don't think you do either. You know, have a great day. God bless you. And I go on to the next person so I can freaking find someone who does have a problem. Because that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to spend my whole day talking to people that are actually going to buy from me. I'm not trying to just like sell every single person. And yes, selling is a part of our job, but it's easier to find people where you're like, cool, here's a problem. Let me fill it. Let me bang, whatever. So that just helped me be more intentional in the question asking where I'm like, okay, cool. Because most people will tell you what they're looking for. Yeah, I want to cover my burial. Most agent will be like, okay, cool, we want to cover your burial. And then they'll just kind of go on from there. And it's like, no, I kind of like pause and I'm like, all right, we're going to spend a second on this. I'm like, okay. So, Bill, like, if something, like, do you have anything as of today that would specifically pay for your burial? God forbid you were to
Yeah.
pass? No? Okay. So was that kind of the main goal here is to make sure that Linda, your wife, isn't having to come out of pocket to pay for the burial whenever you do pass? And what it's doing is you're helping them internalize. Just because they say something and just because you say something doesn't mean that it like lands or it hits or it's like cutting. When you slow it down and you kind of dig into what the heck's really going on and help them realize, like, yo, so like if you don't have this, then here's the like what she's coming out of pocket. She's having to start a GoFundMe on Facebook. It's like, you know, and it helps them internalize it to the point where they're like, oh shoot, here's a problem. And then you continue on your sales process and you get to the end and you're dropping quotes and people aren't hitting you with think about it as much, because all think about it means is you didn't do a good enough job building the gap of why they need it and why there's a sense of urgency here. So when someone does hit me with a think about it, my attitude is like, in my mind, I'm like, yeah, that's stupid. Like there's nothing to think about. Think about whether or not we want to screw over the family. Like that's my attitude. I don't say that, but that needs to be our
Yeah.
attitude. It's like believing in what we
Yeah.
do.
And
And
even if you don't say it, right, Logan, even if you don't say it, your voice, tone, inflection, comes off that way. So even don't say like, dude, like that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. The words that you are saying, your tone and inflection is bringing it out, right? Like they can sense it.
for sure. One more
Yeah.
little thing I'll add to it, and sorry, I can get kind of crazy, so cut me off if I'm talking too much.
No, you're good, dude.
But the other thing that it's so key with building or finding a true need or whatever is when you get to quotes and someone hits you with a think about it, it's so much easier to come to a place of authority and kind of come from a place of like, bro, what are we talking about? Think about it. Like we both 5 minutes ago were on the same page that you've got a serious problem here. Like, what are we talking about? And that's just my attitude is I'm like, think about it. And to me, like, whatever, I'm like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. And I'm just like, all right, that's so stupid. Like, let's get to the bottom of what that really means. And I'm like, okay, are we thinking about whether or not we need the insurance or like how much do we need? Most of the time, oh yeah, how much? I just want to check my budget. I got to figure out which of these. I'm like, cool, man. So let's look at it like this. So between these three options, whatever, we got the 10,000 here. It's probably about minimum you want to cover the burial. Got the 15 to 20,000. You mind if I make your recommendation? Why don't we go ahead and see if we can get approved for the 10,000? Because Bill, what that's going to do bare minimum is we're going to solve our problem of having the burial covered. Once you're approved, if you and the wife talk and you decide, you know what, Logan, actually we want the 15 or the 20,000 to leave a little bit more behind, then it's super easy for us to swap that out once you're already approved. But let's at least make sure that we cover the main thing here. Does that make sense? And they're like, yeah, that makes sense. And then you're going into applications actually having a strong sale, not like this weird, like, yeah, we'll submit it and then think about it. And, we can push the date out. Like, we can always cancel. It's like, hell no. It's like, I'm going to make the freaking sale and then we'll leave the door open if it needs to go up. And guess what? Most of the time, people don't call me back for it to go up, but we made the sale and then we move on to the next person and then we just do it. So,
Exactly. So I'm sure you have this book, right? You probably keep this book close by.
yeah, funny enough, I actually don't have the book, but I know that's like a Jeremy thing. Yeah.
Yeah. And going over if they say I'm not sure, if they've mentioned other coverage, if they have a policy. So I mean, this book, and I always have it close by, and it's something that in my non-money making hours, I refer to this because it helps in that transition where there's dead air or they're saying things that just don't make sense. Like people that love their loved ones, that's why they clicked on it. Then there's really nothing to think about. So that's just phenomenal. So we kind of put on the marquee of this sacrifice and dedication. So as we start to slowly kind of wrap this up and answer any other questions that come through, Logan, what does sacrifice and dedication, your Hall of Fame producer last year, obviously you've already eclipsed Hall of Fame this year.
I've never hit Hall of Fame. Like I started in August of last year, so I only sold.
Oh, you started August last year. My bad.
Yeah, I only sold whatever. I sold 100 and something, whatever. I was averaging around like 30K a month.
Yeah, my bad. So this will be your first Hall of Fame year then.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did 145 last year. My bad. So still an amazing accomplishment in a short period of time. So kudos to you for that. But now you're averaging, 60, 70, 80 a month. So you already clipped it this year. So what did that sacrifice and dedication mean? I see you're at the gym, right? If you don't follow ILS Pro on social media, they got great content. ILS Pro, that's what it is, right, Logan?
It's just life pros.
Life Pros. That's what it is. Life Pros.
That's our
I knew
page.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Life Pros. Yeah. So follow them on social. It's great stuff. Who was that? Who was that was going over the weekend that was just talking the other day? It wasn't you. Who was that saying
On
that
the
he did a
like
that
recognizing
like, hey, they
people.
did a hat trick and they did this and they did that? Who was that talking?
I think that was Roy.
Oh,
Roy
that was Roy.
Clancy.
Yeah,
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 he's a
yeah,
stud.
yeah, yeah. No doubt. So so the setup. You guys are in Nashville, right? What's the setup? Paint the picture for people that don't know the setup there, like I know it.
Yeah. So it's just a ton of just bunch of homies like all in Nashville, and most of us sold books together. It's like a big program. There's kids coming in every year. So that's like a majority of the people that we have, and it just keeps expanding because we're all crushing it. One thing I
Yeah,
would encourage y'all if you're like building a team or whatever is it's like you want a couple key people to start with for sure. Because if you just get a bunch of random people or like just people that aren't that good, it doesn't really get anyone that excited to work with you. But if you have some like key players, you build a strong foundation, it's like you're gonna just create something amazing. And so we were very intentional when we started because I was like what the fourth person to kind of join this team of three, and now we're at
yep,
like over 30 people. And it's like
yep.
they're not my downlines. Like I honestly don't really have like a ton of downlines, but it's like I'm working on my skills of recruiting as well. But
Mm-hmm.
point being, it's like it's growing like crazy because first of all, we're all crushing it. That's kind of number one. It's like we're just setting the precedent. So when someone shows up and it's pretty normal to write 30, 40, 50K months, if they're doing half of that, then it's like, sweet. That's my goal. It's like I want to do so well to the point where I can recruit someone and I'm like, hey dude, you just need to work as hard as me. And if you can sell half of what I'm doing, then like you're gonna be cranking. Like that's what
Yeah.
I'm trying to do.
And that's like Kyle right now, right?
Yeah, for sure. Like he's had like a great
Yeah.
start, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. No, no, he's killing it right off the rip. Yeah. So sacrifice and dedication. So when you're recruited, like so for Kyle, like what did that sound like when you were saying, hey, like, dude, this isn't something you do in your spare time or your free time. What did that sound like when you were explaining it to Kyle? Or I mean, he may have came from books, so he may have already understood it, but what did it sound like?
Yeah, he didn't come from books. He had a bit of a sales background, but nothing crazy. So that was like a cool story for me where I was like, okay, this kid isn't just like an absolute coming from an industry of just like a ton of success. Like it was like, all right, cool. We're gonna see how I'll say this, dude. The thing I'm looking for if I'm trying to recruit someone is some kind of track record of success for sure. I just don't want any like random person, but dude, your mind is like mental is everything. Like that kid was hungry. That kid's like, I'm gonna freaking do what it takes, and I like knew it. Like I could just tell. And I was like, all right, I know for sure that if you're working the hours and like I can train you and help you as much as I can to be able to be good at this, but you got to have the mentality. You got to be a dog. You got to want it. It's like you this thing it's not going to fall in your lap. This stuff doesn't just happen by accident or overnight. Like the people that are absolutely cranking, even like Kendall was saying, it's like the people that have goals that are like, yo, I'm trying to recruit this many people by the end of the year. That dude's got a vision. He's got freaking where there is a will, there is a way. It's like he's got something he's chasing and he's hungry, and like that's what's keeping him going on the days that suck and whatever. And I'm looking for people that are dialed in like that.
Yeah, and when you're rolling the way you're rolling, right, and you're surrounded by your crew like you are, it's easy to be picky, right? Like you're not just going to take any person that kind of just stumbles in off the street wants to do this. I mean, you're
Yeah.
looking for people that have got that same mindset that are ready to tear the ball, to cover up the ball. Awesome. Well, hey man, I appreciate this. I knew it was going to be a great call because you're great. I didn't know about the Nebraska and the Texas and the walking into passers and trying to find a spot to shack up for the summer or the week or whatever it was. But what can we expect? So let's talk about your goals real quick because I know you have them. You have Kyle that you're working with. You're working on your recruiting skills, right? You're obviously crushing it on the regular. And that's mainly final expense, right? So when I look at the numbers
Yeah.
year to date, I mean, you got some IULs that might have been convenient, right?
Yeah.
Um,
That's the only type of like leads I work is like it's mainly older people and it's mainly final expense, and I'm trying to like master that before I move on to something else. It seems like the IUL, like whatever is, that's kind of what all the top producers are doing. But I'm cranking right now doing this, and I'm trying to like really master this before I start to, I guess, sharpen my sword in other ways. So
When you go into your day, like how many presentations do you need to complete? I mean, obviously you can have 50 appointments on your day, but how many presentations are like, hey, it's not a day unless I have this many presentations, or like, what is it? What are those numbers?
I'm shooting for 6 presentations a day, which to me means like dropping quotes. Um, I'm not gonna lie, like there's a lot of days where I only get like a couple presentations, like 3 or 4, but back to the skill thing, it's like you can get, believe it or not, and like some people in here might believe it if you've seen it, but it's like you can get to a point where you can damn near close like almost every presentation if you're just like pretty freaking good at like what you're doing. Because to me, if I don't think it's like it's not going to be a presentation to me if I didn't do a good enough job to like build the need. So for instance, it's like if I'm in the early on in the sales talk, like 5 minutes in, whatever it is, and I can't build enough of a need where I think this is worth going through, then I'm just gonna wrap it up right then and there. It's like I'm not just trying to get to quotes and get to quotes and get to quotes and get to quotes and hope someone buys. It's like hell no. Like if I'm dropping quotes, I'm pretty freaking sure this person's buying because it just makes sense. It's like I'm trying to do presentations that just make sense. And of course, people still hit me with, I want to think about it, or whatever, banking objection, social objection, but you get a lot better at overcoming that when someone truly needs the product and it's not just like you're just working them through a
So
presentation.
something I hear you guys say, and maybe you can expand on a little bit, Logan. Like, so when you're digging into the why, you're not just saying, okay, who's the beneficiary and what? Okay, so Mary's going to be the beneficiary. So, but you dig into that. Like, you want to really have them paint a picture of what that sounds like and feels like, and what the reality of that situation is. If they do when they do pass away, what that looks like. Is that how deep they're painting a picture?
I don't get too weird with it. Like that's my thing is it's like I'm not explaining like go overboard and be like, so, oh man, like what would that like? I don't make it weird. I'm not trying to like be all like manipulative and whatever, but it is
Mhm.
important to just hone in on a couple of things. Like, really, this is all I do. I'm just like, we identify whatever the problem is, whether it's cover, burial, cremation, maybe it's the mortgage, whatever the hell it is. Cool. Here's our problem. Do you have anything put in place as of today that would actually cover that if you were to pass? And most of the time, they're going to say freaking no because they're on the phone with you. And if they say, yeah, I have a bunch of money in savings or a bunch of this and that, then I'm like, do you even need life insurance? No. Cool. Goodbye. So it's like, whatever. Boom, right there. No, I don't have anything. Okay. So it sounds like the main goal here, Bill, is to make sure that Linda, beneficiary, isn't having to come out of pocket to pay for that burial whenever you pass, right? Exactly. And it's like, I'm not being weird. I'm not like overly digging into it, being all like manipulative and just weirdo.
Okay.
But it's really landing. Like it is just like, damn, I don't have anything. And yes, that's the goal. And I'm kind of trying to paint a picture of like, okay, so we're trying to avoid her having to come out of pocket to pay for that. That's helping them envision like, oh yeah, that's enough.
Yeah, got
That's
it.
enough.
So identify the problem, ask if they have a solution, and then move forward from there.
Oh yeah, and Dean, by the way, I'm new to this industry, man. There's probably a lot of things that I don't do right, and I I I don't know nothing about annuities. I will one day, and you're definitely right. I see that. Let me go through like a few of these questions real quick, just because like I just want to. A couple of y'all were asking what the Jeremy Minor program actually is. I did his top level program. It's called like the Inner Circle program. It's the most expensive. I got the most value from his actual training videos, which I'm pretty sure you can get for not an astronomical price, maybe like a couple grand or something. I don't know what it is. I paid like 16 grand. I got like a coach that I worked with like once a month, like very quick. Like, and then there was a couple other features. If I could go back and do it again, I would just watch the videos, and that was enough for me. So it was probably called the whatever Jeremy, just whatever his most recent like set of videos is. There shouldn't be a ton of different products that he has. Go on his website, check it out. But there's different tiers of stuff. You're gonna hop on a Zoom call with a salesperson that's going to sell you. So I would just be like, yo, that's what I'm trying to do. I don't think it's necessary to get the top program. I just did it because I was like, why not?
Yeah.
That's that. And what are top 5 key tasks, goals, daily, weekly, etc.? I set out, I think, yeah, I shoot for 6 presentations a day. So that's what I'm chasing. And I'm chasing it like a madman. Something we learned in selling books is like create goal periods. It's like you can't look at a whole day as like a 10-hour day or an 8-hour day or whatever hours you're working. I break it down where I'm like, I'm trying to get 3 presentations from 9 to 12. I'm trying to get 2 presentations from 12 to 3, and I'm trying to get 3 presentations from 3 to 6. So obviously I don't always check off all those boxes, but that's what I'm chasing to try to get to my 6. And it helps me reset. Boom, 9 to 12. It's 12:01. Bang, new period. Now I'm chasing 2. I'm chasing 2. I'm chasing 2. And it's like, that's the difference. It's like I'm chasing something versus like hoping the cards land wherever they land.
Yeah. So if you don't hit those 3 in the morning, you're not pulling those into the afternoon with your guy. Hey, new clock. I got to hit 2 before 2 or whatever.
Yep.
Got it.
For sure. One very last thing I'll touch on, and I don't know. I get very passionate about this stuff because I've seen it long enough to where I have started to identify, I think, what really helps people do well.
Mhm.
And I mean, you brought up the sacrifices. It's like people are where they're at because of a reason. They didn't get lucky. It's not whatever it is. It's like, I'm 24. I live in Nashville. I'm a single dude. And I went into this year being like, this is going to be the greatest year of my life. And I'm going to make some sacrifices to make sure that it is. So, like, I decided I'm not going to drink alcohol this whole year. And I'm in like freaking Party City with all my boys and like every opportunity in the world to do that. And guess what? I was like, hey, this is going to suck. And I'm going to do it because it's going to make me a freaking beast. And like, who knows if that's the reason for my success? Like, I'm sure it helps. Like, that's one thing. It's like I'm in the gym every single morning, Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. I go to a workout class. It's like, boom, that sucks. And I like starting my day doing something hard because when I knocked out in the morning, I'm rolling into my day like, hell yeah, I already did a badass workout. Like, I'm feeling myself, my energy's high, and I'm going into my day with all these wins stacked. You know, it's like if I don't go to the gym one day, I wake up and my attitude's just terrible. I'm like, I don't want to call today. I don't want to do this, that, or the third. And I've got to like talk to myself to freaking get my attitude in the right spot. Whereas if I just hit the gym in the morning, I'm feeling good. And that's all that matters on the phone is your energy. Like if you're feeling good and you're trying to help people, they're going to be receptive to it and you're going to sell.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, hey, Logan, I want to be respectful of your time. I appreciate you. I put your group's IG in the chat, so you guys can hit that and give them a follow. Great content on there. Your hair looks really big in one of these pictures on here, dude.
Yeah, probably. My hair
But
gets crazy sometimes.
but amazing call tonight, Logan. Appreciate you and everything that you guys do. Can't wait to see you again, whether it's in a couple of days in Florida. I know Miles is going down, I think. And then but I'll see you definitely in Texas at the end of January. So you'll be up on stage getting that first red jacket, crushing it. All right,
Yes,
bro.
sir.
Appreciate you, man. You guys have an amazing
All right,
night. Share it. Talk soon.